So, welcome once again to the second session of the Accountancy Growth Council. This week we're going to be talking about creating strong SEO foundations. Firstly, I'm just going to kind of run some quick intros and just kind of recap where we are within this run of 8 webinars or council sessions, as we're calling them. So probably the first question, who are you guys? What are you doing? Simple answer to that is my name's Brendan. I'm the co-founder of 1225. We're a growth marketing agency based in Northampton, and I'm joined by my other co-founder, Harry Evans. Me and Harry have a combined 25 years of experience in digital marketing, but specifically SEO and organic search, which is what we're talking about today with you. We also decided to let's start again with 1225. We're 6 months kind of old as a business, but me and Harry have worked for a number of different agencies over the past 10 years, honing our skills, understanding, getting experience. So 1225 is around 6 months old. And it was part of that journey to setting up 1225 and understanding, how are we going to sort out our tax? How are we going to sort out our accounts? We needed an accountant, and it spurred our search online for an accountant. And what we've noticed this is a massive opportunity for accounting firms to optimize for organic search and grow their businesses. So that's where the Accountancy Growth Council was born. Me and Harry, with our experience as well, we've actually already worked with a number of financial services clients. So we've got Pension B, Assets, Clio, and Blick Rothlen. I can't pronounce that, Harry. Roethlisberger. And we're also joined on today's call by Josh. Josh is the de facto AGC leader. So Josh is the person responsible for kind of contacting all the accountancy firms that we've invited onto the council. So Josh has been speaking to over 200 different accountancy firms from nationwide, from all locations. So if you've got any questions or feedback from this session or any of the other sessions, Josh is the person to go to, and we'll provide his contact details after this as well. So the final question to kind of set this all up, what is the Accountancy Growth Council? So the Accountancy Growth Council, like I mentioned, over 200 accountancy firms have been invited. And this is a select group of 50 of those accountancy firms. And it's basically a way for us to help share and help you reduce your reliance on referrals and accelerate business growth through organic search. We understand that a lot of accountancy firms work on that age-old process of word-of-mouth referrals, but in this kind of new digital age, just like me and Harry, when we needed an accountant, we looked online and we saw that a lot of accountancy firms need help with their websites and their online visibility. So this Growth Council will be kind of meeting over the next 7 weeks to explore a framework that Harry and myself have put together to increasing your organic search success. There's a lot of content, so obviously we're going to be running 8 webinars. We've already held one, but each couple of weeks we're going to drop a piece of content for you that's actionable. So everyone on this call now should have received the SEO playbook that we talked about last week, and that explains in detail each step of the 8-step process in detail. And we've got other bits and pieces to share with you over the coming weeks as well, exclusive to the Accountancy Growth Council as well. So without further ado, the council is now in session. And we're going to start with the playbook, kind of just introduce that, the organic search playbook for accountants. And this is where we are in the process. So this is the second session. So today we're talking about that second step, which is foundations. We had a great webinar led by Harry last week on understanding organic search. And we've got 6 more in every Wednesday at 10 o'clock moving forwards as well. So like I said, foundations is this week's focus. But before we get into the foundations of organic search, you'll probably, for those that weren't on the webinar last week, a quick recap into what is organic search. Now, to understand organic search and pretty much any marketing channel, you need to understand the buyer's journey. So every single customer that goes online and even, offline, they go through something called the buyer's journey, and we break that down into kind of three kind of stages: awareness, consideration, and decision stage. So if you cast your mind back to mine and Harry's journey, looking for an accountant, the awareness stage was, oh, we're going to need someone to help us, or how do we sort out our own tax issues? How do we sort out our own accounting? Then from there, we considered the different options. Okay, we could potentially hire someone in-house, or we could go to accountants, or we could just learn it ourselves and just, fudge along and try and make the best of it. And then the decision stage is realizing, okay, we're definitely going to need a professional. We're going to need accountants. We probably want someone quite close to us so we can go meet them face to face to discuss our issues. And that's how we chose and went through the buyer's journey. The buyer's journey isn't linear, so you could go from consideration could push you back to awareness stage content through to decision stage. So, but these are the three kind of core areas that defines our strategy when we come to building strategies for organic search, but also paid marketing, your social media, or even your emails as well. And the goal with marketing, and especially SEO or organic search, is to engage these customers at every stage of the buyer's journey to drive those sales. So again, imagine the buyer's journey as a bit of a funnel. You're trying to pull in people or leads into the top of the funnel, which is the awareness stage, and nurture them on their journey through consideration stage, and then down into making a decision and hopefully going with your firm as well. And then SEO, or as we call it, organic search, is made of kind of three main pillars. There's lots of different factors. SEO, or Google, works with algorithms that probably have about 200 different ranking factors. But each one of these factors you can probably put into these three buckets or these three areas. So the first step is technical optimizations. So making sure that your site can get indexed and crawled by Google's bots, so that you can actually appear on the search results pages. Think of that as a bit, Google is basically a more sophisticated library system. They're indexing pages from your site like they would books in a library. And technical optimization is just looking after the technical elements that might affect or create barriers to crawlers being able to effectively index and crawl your site. Once technical optimizations are all done, you move on to content, which is probably the most important. You'll often hear marketers talking about content is king. That's how you really shape the narrative on your site, how you drive people and nurture people through the buyer's journey, through pieces of content tailored to each individual intent. And don't worry, we're going to talk through all of this over the coming 6 weeks after this course as well. And then we've got amplification. So that's how we spread the message online as well. So amplification, some people might have heard of link building or digital PR, also spreading that out through referrals or social media as well. Basically, in the simplest terms, links, Google uses links from other sites through to your site to help rank your site more effectively in the search results. So if other sites are deeming your site worthy enough to link to, that's basically a vote or a count towards your authority, essentially. So again, lots of agencies as well that you might have spoken to in the past, they'll have separate teams that work almost in silos in each of these areas. So you might have a digital PR team, a technical SEO team, and a content team. Whereas actually at 1225 and some agencies, we like a more holistic approach to organic search. That's why we bucketed them all together. And that's how you create results as well from organic search. just what I've been explaining there as well. And it's very simple at the end of the day. Again, lots of agencies, lots of marketers like to make it sound like the most complex, complicated process or discipline channel, and it's not. Essentially, all you're doing is making sure your site can be seen and that you're creating content that your readers want to read, and information that's useful and relevant to those users, and then sharing it out online so you can be seen online and drag more people into your site as well. So with that all explained, let's check in with the lads. Harry, Josh, any questions at this stage?
Just one from my side, which is from Karen, saying that she missed last week's webinar, and is it possible to watch it? So the answer to that question is yes. If you go to YouTube and search Accountancy Growth Council, we have the first result that comes up, and video or webinar number 1 is available there.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, one from me, from
sure.
Ed. He's back again this week, the almighty Ed. You mentioned content. So how important would you say to have a team where you actually write useful content rather than just getting AI to generate it for you?
That's a great question, and we're going to go into that in more detail over the coming weeks with some of the techniques that we talk about. The simplest answer at this stage that I can give anyone, we say it quite often here at 1225, people buy from people. So you need to create content that speaks to your target audience and your ICPs in the way that they want to be spoken to. Real world connections matter. Again, from mine and Harry's search, when we were looking at websites, we were looking for specific information for co-founders of a new startup. We were looking for accountants that could deal with that and help us on the journey and explain the process to us as well. So again, it's matching that intent on that search. In the end, we couldn't necessarily find that from local accountants online, and we actually chose someone through a referral who actually explained that they've been through this process as well. So having that content and being able to answer those audience first questions straight up, that will help drive people to take action quicker. So I would always say that human produced content, potentially using AI to help scale it or make it faster, make it better, that's probably your best approach. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, so step 2, building strong foundations then. This is the focus of today's webinar. And why just quickly, why we've started building this playbook in 8 kind of steps. We can see many accountancy firms do not invest in digital marketing, but especially organic search. Now, how do we know that? We audited 200 accountancy firm websites, the same kind of 200 websites that we've invited partners to these webinars to the council. And what we've seen is an alarming 57% lack the essential foundations, basically the basic online foundations that are required for you to be effectively found on Google. So again, that means 43% are getting there, but 57% that. And if you put that across the whole industry, that is a vast majority of accountancy firms that are just relying on referrals or other channels, when actually organic search in today's market is growing all the time. And again, just a quick segue to that. We've audited these 200 accountancy firm websites just using public data and our own manual kind of going through each site as well to understand who and who isn't investing in organic search. As Accountancy Growth Council members, you will be the first to receive a copy of this benchmark report when it's ready to be launched in a couple of weeks. But yeah, we just wanted to show you that we've put the effort in to understand this. This isn't based on assumptions. This is actually based on data that we found from tools and from our own research. So, and that's why this whole Accountancy Growth Council was born, because there is plenty of opportunities for you to capitalize on. So before we talk about kind of building those strong foundations, why build those strong foundations? So without foundations being built, your website's not going to help you grow your business. You might as well not have a website and just rely on the referrals, doing the good work that you're doing. Why is this? Because you'll struggle to build any of that brand category affiliation. You know, why people would use you for that particular niche within accountancy. And if you're not visible in the search pages or the search engine results pages, that leads to missing opportunities for attracting potential clients. And you might be fully happy with the growth you're getting through referrals at the minute, but organic search growth will help you turbocharge that and grow even bigger, even quicker. So with the why out of the way, let's talk about the actionable tips for building foundations. Now, there are, again, like 200 different ranking factors in Google's algorithms. So there are plenty of different tasks. So this is just a quick selection based on how easy and how quick they are for you to implement, that helps you build those organic search foundations as well. Before building these foundations, though, you probably need to ensure that you have Google Analytics 4 on your website and that your data is being tracked. You need data to be able to understand if your marketing efforts are working. Without it, it's kind of like throwing spaghetti up a wall. So yeah, I would definitely recommend getting Google Analytics 4 set up so you can understand who your users are, what they do on your site, and where they're coming from. And Google does exactly that. It provides detailed insights into website traffic and that user behavior. And we use this data, and you can use this data because it's readily available to guide any marketing strategies that you have, ensure the tactics that you're using are working, and identify effective growth opportunities as well.
Yeah, Brendan, good question. Harry, you go ahead.
Yeah. I think you go for it, Josh. It's all good.
Right, so say if you get an accountant they're not very clued up in marketing or Google Analytics or anything like that, will we be able to sort of support them and sort of guide them through that?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So our playbook gives you a kind of quick step-to-step guide on setting up Google Analytics. And Google Analytics 4 is the new version that Google brought out in the past couple of years to replace the old versions. But yes, obviously, we've got 25 years worth of experience of SEO, but to do SEO and to do organic search, you need to know how to use analytics as well. So fully versed in setting up Google Analytics for different companies and different firms. So yeah, we can definitely help anyone.
Yeah, coming in on that, Brendan, similar question from Ross, which is that they set up Google Analytics when their site was set up a couple of years ago now. You're saying Google Analytics 4, is there a difference? If they've already got Google Analytics, do they need to take any action?
Yes, absolutely. So Google Analytics 4 is the new version that Google, I'm sure as accountants, you will have all heard of GDPR as a law. You may not be directly involved in it, but because of that, Google had to change the way they were collecting data on the old version of Google Analytics, which was actually collecting some personally identifiable data. So they've had to strip that out of the system and created Google Analytics 4, which is a new measurement system. I won't go into the details because it's probably too much at this stage, but definitely if you've got Google Analytics on your site, that would have stopped recording data. Most sites would have seen that drop off completely in October. Some sites may still be getting a bit of data, but if you haven't got Google Analytics 4 set up, you need to have it, because otherwise you won't have any data being recorded at this stage. Does that help?
Yeah, spot on. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Data as well, as marketers, as accountants as well, know financial data. You're in spreadsheets all day, every day as well. we use that data as marketers for growth. So one of the best tools that you could possibly use as a marketer online is Google Search Console. It is invaluable tool. It's basically Google's way of telling you how your site is performing actually on the Google search results. So analytics tells you how your website is performing, who's coming into your site, and what they're doing on the site and where they came from. Google Search Console actually shows you the behaviors and understandings of impressions, clicks, all of the metrics, what keywords are being used and what pages are showing up in the Google search results. It also shows you kind of indexing issues and kind of technical elements around user experience. It's very quick and easy to set up as well. So again, like Google Analytics, if you need some help, let us know. We're more than happy to jump on and just get that set up for you. But it's a goldmine of information to show you what keywords your potential users are searching for and what pages from your site are being shown on Google and where you're ranking. So you can make you can find opportunities that way, and that helps turbocharge your business growth through organic search.
Quickly, Brendan, sorry, Ed's popped up in the chat again. Are they free?
Yes, both tools are free. That's a great question. So you don't have to pay anything. But again, depending on the level of data that Google Search Console, it's quick and easy to set up. And again, in the SEO playbook for accountants that we've produced, that has a step-by-step guide on how to set it up. Again, if you need any help, we can help you there. But yeah, both systems are completely free to use. Okay, perfect. And yeah, this is just an example of some of the data that you can get out of Google Search Console. So we use it directly to identify content opportunities. It will make more sense as we go on in this series of webinars as well when we talk about certain tactics that we use. But essentially, the one tool that we can use across all of the playbook is Google Search Console. Now, once you can start measuring success, we can start with building your foundations, and your solid foundations will be built upon something we call on-page optimization. So every page on your website, there are certain factors that we can optimize that help you potentially improve your rankings on Google, but it also helps with users being able to kind of engage with your website in a quick fire way on Google itself. And the great thing about these on-page changes, they are low effort, high impact changes. It's literally crafting either 70 characters or 125 character titles or descriptions and adding them to your website. And they do provide high impact for your business pages as well, because they help improve user experience and also the site's visibility as well. So these on-page elements as well help the search engines like Google understand your content, and they assist your users to grasp the relevance of your pages on the Google, as we call them, SERPs, the search engine results pages. So what are these factors, on-page factors that you can optimize so quickly? So I'll just run through the factors and kind of show you what they are in relation to the Google search engine results pages as well. And these three kind of factors that we're going to show you, they do boost your online visibility because they encourage users to click and visit your website. So they might not be direct ranking factors. I'll explain as I go on with each factor, but they help boost engagement. So the first one is meta titles. So on the right hand side of the screen, you can see it's basically it's pretty obvious, but the wording in blue, like a link, that is your meta title, and that is fully customizable for each page on any website. So these tags are vital for SEO. Not only are they the clickable element of the Google search results for each listing, as we call them. They also appear at the top of your web browser when users visit your site. They give users a quick fire 5, 6, 7 word kind of insight into what the page is going to be about as well. So again, we wanted a Northampton accountant. We're a small startup, small business. So again, we're looking for titles that may include Northampton, may include, small businesses or startups as well. So that instantly helps draw our eye to that result. And again, that wording is bigger, so it's more prominent. So again, that's the first thing that our eyes are drawn to, and it helps us just understand quickly, okay, what's that about? And then we'll move on to make a more of a judgment on the Google SERPs. And that factor to help us do that is called a meta description. So that's that snippet of text underneath the title that basically gives us a further summary of the content on the web page. So these descriptions aren't a direct ranking factor on Google anymore, but they help promote click-through rates. So we want to get your users clicking on your website. So this is your opportunity to convince them to click onto your site as well. So again, we'd expect the same level of kind of information that we'd see in titles, location potentially, who you do work for, and what type of work you do as well. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to optimize all of these as we go on in the webinar as well. Okay. And then the third step is your H1 tag or your header tags. So firstly, to explain, there are a number of different tags. I think it goes up to a H6. And these are basically heading types that allow Google and users to understand the semantic reason behind your content, and it breaks it up into kind of more digestible sections. So on a homepage, for instance, a H1 tag would be the main heading or the title of the web page content. So in the example, accountants in Northampton is the H1 tag. And again, the H1 tag helps us quickly identify and understand what the primary focus of the page is. And then you could, after that, have H2 tags, which will go into subtopics, and then H3 tags might break that down into further topics. So it's all semantic links, and Google will use this. Remember, cast your mind back to kind of Google being a library indexing system. They will use features like the meta title, meta description, and the H1 tag to better understand the content on the page. Because remember, Google's crawlers, their bots, they aren't human. So they won't have the sophisticated kind of knowledge that a human has yet, potentially. But these kind of simple nods, these kind of keywords, they help Google understand what a page is potentially going to be about as well. Okay, so now we can see what each of those 3 factors are. How do we optimize for these on-page factors as well? And the first step is use tools. So we've already given you a couple of tools that you need to use, Google Analytics 4 and Google Search Console. But these tools, any kind of SEO or organic search specialist will use day to day, and I highly recommend that you download them. Once again, they're free to use. So the first one is, if you use Google Chrome, you could potentially get this on Firefox or other operating systems as well, but it is Detailed Chrome extension, and this helps us identify on-page issues. So this is just a screenshot from Detailed itself when logging onto 1225's homepage as well. So we can see quite quickly, because all of those key elements there are in green. It gives us a quick nod to be like, okay, yeah, we're optimized as possible. So again, we've got the title or meta title, the meta description. Yeah, it's within character limits. That's great. Talks about URL chronicles, but it also shows, you can see, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but it's got the headings tab there. We can click on that to find out if your page has a H1 tag, what the H1 tag is, if it's missing the H1 tag, or if there's duplicate or multiple H1 tags on a page as well. So that's a quick fire Chrome extension that you can use. It's completely free and it can be used on any web page as well. And then high visibility on page optimizer tool as well. So once we've found a page, okay, that meta description is missing, we want it to match Google best practices, which again, I'll come on to just after this. But tools like this, high visibilities, is the one that we've just been, myself and Harry have been using for a number of years. There's a number of these tools available on Google, so just have a search for them. But I can type in the meta description and yeah, just make sure that it fits nicely, because underneath this screenshot, they actually have a mock Google search results page that you can actually see how your SERP listing will look like with your changes as well. So the next step, this is a crucial element as well, because often when people are taught new things, we just want to go away and implement as quickly as possible. Great, yeah, let's get this done on all pages. You're busy, we understand that, everyone's busy. So we always say, for a business that's new to organic search, start with priority pages and optimize. So priority pages, think of it like a pyramid. You know, you're probably going to start with your homepage and your service pages first, and then go down into your blog pages, or, you know, meet the team pages, career pages on from there. So start with the priority pages. Now, how can you identify priority pages? Google Analytics 4, Google Search Console, have a look at the data. Which pages are actually driving traffic to your site? Which pages are people landing on? Which pages could actually increase the amount of traffic to your site by these tweaks? So if you're getting a lot of traffic to your service page, so your tax services page, but you haven't got meta description or a meta title on that page, or it's not optimized, by tweaking that, you should see a boost in click-through rate, which in turn should increase traffic as well. So just going through each kind of element and how to optimize them. So starting with meta titles. First up, we want to add relevant keywords for your services in the title. We want to keep the page titles concise. The kind of best practice limit is around 70 characters. Google actually uses pixels. So again, cast your mind back to higher visibility tool that had the pixel count there, but it's around 70 characters. So you'll see it if you use a tool like that to see it cut off. Perfect example of this is the meta title at the top there, Scott and Bland. That has been cut off. You can see it by the 3 dots at the end of the meta title as well. East where, you know, it would be great to have that location, so it's really clear that people know where they're serving, and then they can go on. By having that whole location, it helps qualify those users if they want a local service. 9 times out of 10, you're going to go for a local service as well. And also, each page needs to have a unique title. You can't have the same meta title across 6 different pages, for instance. So they need to be tailored. It's an opportunity to grab the attention of your users when they're on Google. They're obviously actively searching for accountancy firms, so you need to almost strike whilst the iron's hot as well. So a good example is Accounting. So it's got Northampton. Accountants Northampton might be a keyword, but it also qualifies further for small businesses. So again, me and Harry were 1225. We might be like, okay, those guys might be good to speak to, and we can add them to our shortlist to speak to. How to craft a meta title for your homepage. So again, 9 times out of 10, you'll be surprised at how many people forget this, but your keyword target for your homepage is going to be your brand name. Your homepage 9 times out of 10 is all about your brand name, but we also want to keep it concise and tell users what we do. So in this example, I've used a high visibility tool I've mentioned before. I've plugged in a title to make sure it's a decent length, and there's no point having a meta title that's 20 characters long. Use the allotted space that you've got, because if it's a short title, again, for users, it's not going to be as prominent as SERPs around it that use the full amount of space. You're vying for that attention, so use all of the benefits that you've got that Google gives you as well. So this is a fictional accountancy firm, the Accountancy Growth Council Accountants. So if we were an accountancy firm, we may do accountancy services for SEO agencies. Very clear what we do, gives people landing that, oh, actually, me and Harry, if we saw that, they're the people we probably need to speak to. Moving on to the meta descriptions then. So again, very much like the meta titles, they need to be concise. You've got around 100, I believe the cutoff point is 156 characters, but again, it uses pixel characters. So if you've got a lot of I's in your meta description, you could probably have a lot more characters than if you had W's or M's, because they take up more pixels. We want to craft these engaging meta descriptions, encouraging users to click through. So often it's a quick explanation of what we do, targeted to that user in mind. And also we want to give them a kind of call to action, like, let's talk today. And we also want to include our target keywords, because again, it's everything that we do is about the user first, search engines second. But we know by having a target keyword in there, Google's indexing system is more sophisticated, but it's a quick and easy nod to their systems. Okay, these guys are talking about accountancy services. Maybe that's relevant to that search term as well. Again, looking at unoptimized example, you can just see it's too long. The meta description's too long for the page and it's been cut off. So we're getting through who it's for, what they do. In and around Milton Keynes, achieve their what? It just stops, and it's a bit jarring, that experience. A good example, again, just chosen at random, but it's BKS Accountants. So it's concise. You can see it finishes. They offer a full range of services, which they explain, and where they offer those services as well. If anything, if I was to optimize that meta description, even though it's a good example, there's no call to action like contact us today or take a look, get more information, that type of thing as well. So how I would craft a meta description for your homepage. So again, remember, homepages, 9 times out of 10, the keyword target is your brand name. We probably want, oh, there's a typo there, 156 characters, 155 to 156 characters. And we need to tell the users what we do. And again, we want to engage with the users and get them to click onto your site as well. So again, using high visibility tool, I've used their description box this time to build out, and you can see this screenshot. It gives us an example of what our listing will actually look like on the Google search results pages. So I'm keeping it within character limits. As you can see, there's no 3 dots. It doesn't cut off unnaturally. I've mentioned our brand name, so AGC Accountants, and then what we do. So we can help your marketing agency grow your business through tax, accountancy, and bookkeeping services. And then I finish it off with a quick, sharp, snappy call to action. So let's talk today. And then optimizing these header tags, H1 tags in particular. Your H1 tag needs to clearly reflect the content on your page. Ideally, you want to add relevant keywords into the H1 tag, and you want to maintain that logical hierarchy of your content through heading tags. So start with one H1 tag, then go with H2, H3, and so on. You can have multiple H2, H3s, but just keep one H1 tag on your page, because if you have more than one H1 tag, it sends a signal to Google's crawlers. Oh, okay, this page could be about this or that. Google gets confused and then when it comes to index you, it will decrease your rankings. In simple terms, this is decrease your rankings because it doesn't understand if you're ranking for tax services or bookkeeping services. So again, keep it to one clear example, one clear keyword target on these pages as well. Kind of an example that needs to be optimized. On one site that I visited, their H1 tag on their homepage was award-winning. That's great, but what do they actually do? Google seeing that award-winning, what do they do? Where do we rank them? They could be an award-winning, I don't know, butchers or an award-winning accountants if they use that signal to rank it. A much better H1 tag for the homepage would be something like a chartered accountants in location, chartered accountants for marketing agencies, for startups. So with that in mind, how do we craft a H1 tag for your homepage? So again, keyword target for homepage should probably be your brand name and what your main service is. And we want to keep the H1 tags concise and talk about what we do and for who. So use this as your kind of tagline for your business, your 5 to 7 word pitch, if you will. Get someone infused and engaged with your content through the H1 tag. And it's proven because of the location of a H1 tag on the page, it's usually the first piece of content that anyone will land on the page. It's usually bigger in styling as well on any page, so people's eyes will be naturally drawn to it first. So it's your opportunity to really get people's attention. So an example that I've just written up, AGC Accountants. So we've got the brand name there, and then our main service is accountancy for SEO agencies. So that's the H1 tag. You can see the styling's different, and then potentially the H2 tag underneath would be something like turbocharging business performance with accountancy services for startup SEO agencies. So that's just an example of how to craft each of those on-page factors.
Brendan, before you go into the recap, I'm conscious we have come to the end of the session. Time-wise, we've got a couple of people with questions. So I'm thinking what we can do is we can get those questions answered and then just kind of skip to the final slide of where we're going to meet next week. And then obviously, if anybody else has got any questions, please just email us, Brendan, Harry, Josh at 1225.io, and we can get those further questions answered.
Absolutely, I was having too much fun, so sorry about that.
So the question here from Darren is, it makes sense, and he said that he's looking at his site. He'd installed the Chrome extension, had a look, and can see his site needs optimizing. But his question is, does he need developers to do that?
Again, it depends on your, as we call them, CMS systems. So CMS stands for Content Management System. A lot of sites might run on kind of open source platforms like WordPress. 9 times out of 10, you should be able to change meta titles, meta descriptions on your sites if they use content management systems. Some sites may be a small 2-3 page kind of static site. So if your site is small and you don't use an admin system to log into the back end to make changes, to add pages, add blogs, then I would suggest you probably need developers. But again, if you're unsure, just let us know. We can have a quick look for you and kind of just guide you on that as well.
Cool, nice. And then a follow-up question is, can you use something like ChatGPT to help with this?
Yes. Again, some agencies, and remind yourself of what I was saying earlier about content. I don't know who asked the question earlier. It might have been Ed, but yes, I think don't be afraid to use AI, but I wouldn't let it do everything for you. Let it potentially do the legwork. So you could potentially ask AI like ChatGPT to give you 5 different options for a meta description that has to include these keywords and this brand name, and see what it picks out. But again, it's never going to write it in a way that suits you and your tone of voice, your company's kind of brand. So I would, for main pages especially, write bespoke meta descriptions, bespoke titles, but for kind of lesser pages further down the website, you may potentially be able to use a bit of AI to help.
Right, another question, Brendan, from Jack this time. He's basically asked, their website is really old. Can we help with making a new one and migrating all their stuff over?
Yes, by all means. Again, we've ran many different migrations over our 10 years kind of experience. But again, we're happy to have a chat with anyone in the council about your website and your needs, and we can advise you, because again, it might seem like your site's really old, but just because a site's old doesn't mean it's good. If it's performing well, again, looking at the data, if it's performing well in analytics, we might not want to actually change the website because something's working. So we'd need to have a chat, work out. But yeah, if people want new sites, need migrations, all of that, we can advise, we can sort it out, we can do basically all of that. But first up, as ever, I would always just say, let's have a chat, let's walk before we run, and yeah, go from there.
Yeah, one more question. They didn't want to actually be named, but they said if they've got a problem, can they jump on a quick Zoom or anything like that with you just to go through things?
Yeah, absolutely. Any one of us free. So myself, you, Josh, and Harry, we're all available for a quick chat. I'm sure we've got some links in our signatures we can send out. You can book a call with us, 15-minute call at any time when we're available, and we can just have a chat and kind of go through your website and kind of start helping you build these strong foundations.
Nice one. Thanks, Brendan. So yeah, should we skip ahead to that final slide and get things rounded out?
Certainly. So just looking at the next council meeting then. So next Wednesday, the 15th of November at 10 a.m. Similar format to this. I will try and keep it to 45 minutes or Harry, if Harry's leading that session. You should have received the copy of the organic search playbook for accountants. Please let us know if you haven't. We will get that sent to you. And as ever, like we've just discussed, if you've got any questions or feedback on the first two webinars, please email josh.truman@1225.io. Alternatively, please connect with the three of us on LinkedIn. We're more than happy to help. But yeah, I think that's everything, unless Josh, Harry, you've got anything else to add.
No, really good. Thank you for that, Brendan.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Hopefully, we may speak before, but let's say we'll see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Thank you very much.